Hey everybody, welcome to my latest homework video, and I've got some special guests right over here. So, would you like to introduce yourselves? What's your name?
I'm Sarah. What's special?
All right, what's your name?
Yes.
All right, but okay, do you know what to say if I ask you this? ¿Cómo te llamas?
Me llamo Lucas.
Awesome! ¿Cómo te llamas? Woo! So you see, ladies and gentlemen, anybody can speak Spanish. So, high five. Muy bien. Hey, let me ask you a question. Do you guys like campechana?
Yeah.
Well, what is campechana? Is it ice cream?
No, it's seafood.
Oh, it's seafood. Okay, like let's see, seafood like apples? No? Is
Like
it?
fish.
Oh, it's like fish? You mean like dog?
Octopus.
Oh, okay, all right. How do you eat a campechana? Do I have to have a fork or a knife or something?
No, a spoon.
I have to have a spoon. Wow. Do you know what a spoon is in Spanish?
I don't know.
Uh,
Naranja.
It's a naranja, ladies and
No,
gentlemen.
that's orange.
Oh, it's an orange. Okay, all right. So, what do you guys say this is?
A spoon.
A spoon. Okay, what is this?
A fork.
Wow. And what is this?
A knife.
Okay, all right. Oh, okay. So let me see if I remember. This is a spoon, right? This is a spoon.
No, it's a fork.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. This is a spoon.
No, that's a knife.
I always forget. Okay. This is a knife.
No, that's a fork.
Oh, whoops. Okay. All right. This is a fork.
No, that's a knife.
I don't know what these are. Hi, everybody. This is your Spanish teacher, and I've got some special guests right over here. As you can see, they're very excited to meet all of you, and they also want you to learn more Español. So how about it? What do you guys say? Hey, can you guys tell everybody out there in the world to learn Spanish? Can you guys say that? 1, 2, 3. Learn Spanish. All right, yeah, because you know what? Spanish is cool. What do you think? Yeah, it is cool.
What about Japanese?
Learn Japanese, because Japanese is cool too. All right. Hey,
Well, it's Portuguese.
learn Portuguese. Follow Portugués, right? Is that how I say it? All right, something like that.
Two cats.
Aprende español. Sí. It's pretty cool, huh?
No.
Sí, es muy
C, like the letter C?
like the letter C. Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, folks. So pay attention in la clase de español and watch this homework video. And thank you to my special guests for helping me out. So let's get to the latest and greatest homework video. Here we go. Señoritas y señores, welcome back to these homework videos. And this one has to do with the grammar section in Chapter 4B, the second half of Chapter 4. The first lesson is going to be called Mandato Nosotros. It's when you tell a group that you're involved with, hey, let's do this or let's do that en español. And this information is in your libro. It looks like that. It's going to be on página 182, page 182 of your Spanish book. And whenever you have a moment, por favor, look it over. Whenever you have your libro en la clase de español, because it will walk you through with a few examples of when to use us commands or we commands. See, in the past, you've already been telling people what to do. You've been telling tú what to do. You've been telling usted what to do. And you've been telling ustedes what to do. You've also been telling them what not to do. But now, you are going to say to nosotros, to us, let's do this or let's not do this. And that is the point of Mandatos con Nosotros, señoritas y señores. Let me start off by saying that you already know how to say, hey, let's do this, let's do that in Spanish. All right? Do you remember saying vamos a, and then the infinitive? Vamos a practicar deportes. Vamos a comer el almuerzo. Vamos a ir a la playa. Vamos a hacer la tarea. Okay, so you see, all of that you've already know. But since you're learning Spanish 3, since you're in a college prep level course, now you're getting into the more advanced Spanish. And so now this is going to teach you how to say in another way, let's do this, let's do that, or let's not do this, or let's not do that, okay? So the Mandatos con Nosotros form, guess what? This mandato, this command, is actually something that you know already. It's the same as the nosotros form of the present subjunctive. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, you thought you were done with the subjunctive mood. It's back again. But in this case, your subjunctive mood is going to help you form your nosotros command. Check it out. Let's take the verb resolver. That's your ER infinitive, all right, to resolve. And in order for you to say, hey, let's resolve this conflict, you can say one of two things. You can say, vamos a resolver el conflicto. That's one way. That's the way you probably already know how to do. Pretty easy. And the other way is this right over here. Check it out. Resolvamos el conflicto. Yeah. If that looks familiar to you, well, it should, because remember, present indicative fact tense is resolvemos, right? We resolve. But if I want to say let's resolve, this is the subjunctive conjugation for resolver in the nosotros present tense. Resolvamos, and guess what? That doubles up. That doubles up as your mandato con nosotros. If you don't believe me, let me jump on SpanishDict.com and let me show you something. I went ahead and I typed in the infinitive hacer, and everyone knows by now that hacer means to do or to make, all right? Everyone knows in the present tense that right now hacer is yo hago, tú haces, usted, él, ella hace, nosotros hacemos, ustedes, ellos, ellas hacen. Everyone knows that. And if you remember, ladies and gentlemen, when we covered the subjunctive mood, this is what it changes to. Yo haga, tú hagas, usted, él, ella haga, nosotros hagamos. And I'm going to stop right there. Because guess what? There it is. That's our mandato con nosotros right there. It's been done for us. You just have to remember the nosotros present subjunctive conjugation. Easy peasy? I hope so, because that's all you need to do. You need to just remember the present subjunctive conjugation for your ARERIR ending verb, and you have your mandato con nosotros. Let's take a look at the next example. It says, no reaccionemos. Let's not react. No reaccionemos tan rápido. And that's pretty good advice. Let's not react too quickly. We want all the facts. No reaccionemos tan rápido. Let's not react too quickly, okay? Again, you already know how to say no vamos a reaccionar. Okay, that's the easy way to go. But again, since you're taking advanced Spanish, no reaccionemos is another way to say, hey, let's not jump to conclusion. Let's not react too quickly. Okay, señoritas y señores, this does mean, however, that you will now have to remember stem changing verbs when appropriate. Take a look at these stem changing IR infinitives. Remember, when they have an E in the stem, they could change to the letter I, and when they have an O in the stem, they have a change into the letter U. So don't forget to change the stem. And again, all you need to do is to remember your present tense subjunctive conjugations. And there you have it. Let's take the verb pedir. And if I want to say in Spanish, hey, let's ask for forgiveness, well, again, the easiest way to do it is vamos a pedir perdón, but using a mandatos con nosotros, pidamos perdón. When you work it out, pidamos perdón. All right. Now, if you retrace your steps on how to conjugate verbs in the subjunctive mood in the present tense, then you know how I got this, okay? So you might want to go back to the previous videos, especially the subjunctive videos, on how this became this, all right? And the next thing, what this line means is, hey, we shouldn't sleep out there in the open. Like, you know, if we like fall asleep somewhere like in the open air, aire libre, then that means that somebody can kind of roll up on us and then, you know, steal our wallet or something like that. Play along. So, one way to say it, the way that's easiest is no vamos a dormir al aire libre. But again, you're taking advanced Spanish level 3, so no durmamos. No durmamos al aire libre, and that is your mandato con nosotros. Watch out for those infinitives that have CAR, GAR, ZAR endings. And you could see more examples. Once again, these are present tense subjunctive conjugations which double up as your mandato con nosotros. No critiquemos a nuestros padres. Let's not criticize our parents. You know, they do the best they can. Alright, but as you can see, this change is necessary to preserve pronunciation. Empecemos a pensar un poco de ellos. Yes, let's start to think a little bit more or a little bit about them. Alright, empecemos. Again, this change is necessary right over here, alright, to preserve pronunciation. And then you can see right here, hey, let's play baseball. Sure, you could say vamos a jugar al béisbol, but you're taking level 3 Español, so wouldn't it be awesome if you said juguemos al béisbol? And everybody will be impressed with your mad Español skills, all right? Okay, but guess what? The return of direct object pronouns and indirect object pronouns, ladies and gentlemen, all right? Don't forget your DOPs. Replace the name of the noun you're talking about. And don't forget your IOPs are, well, you have to ask yourself to who or for who, or to whom or for whom, all right? So for affirmative nosotros commands, the ones that say, hey, yes, let's do this, let's do that, where do they go? Well, you attach the direct object pronouns or the indirect object pronouns, depending on what you're talking about, at the end like a Lego block. So let's take our verb celebrar, AR ending verb, right? You could say vamos a celebrar la amistad. That's perfect Spanish, okay? But now we're gonna get extra fancy, and not only are we going to use a mandato con nosotros, but we're also going to replace la amistad, which is a feminine noun, with a direct object pronoun, so we don't have to repeat la amistad over and over and over and over again. And now it's represented by just the DOP la. And again, like a Lego block, it goes at the end. To preserve the pronunciation, there's an accent mark over this vowel right over here. So now, instead of saying celebremos la amistad, now you say this: celebrémosla. Yeah, that's right. You heard me. Celebrémosla. Not bad, huh? And that is super duper advanced Spanish. Aren't you proud of yourself? Okay, take a look at the next example. You can see that we want to tell him something. We want to tell him something. Again, when you ask yourself for who or to who, or for whom or to whom, then we'll probably need a indirect object pronoun. In this case, he's the receiving end of whatever we're going to tell him, so he will be represented by the IOP le. All right? Sure, we can go the easy way and say vamos a decir a él. We are going to tell him. But why not use a mandato con nosotros, in this case, digamos? And why not get extra fancy with it and replace él with the IOP le? and it will require a vowel, accent mark over this vowel to preserve the pronunciation, because don't forget, Spanish was a spoken language before it was a written language. So now it's digámosle. Digámosle. Hey, let's tell him. Digámosle. Digámosle. All right? And that's for affirmative nosotros commands to say, let's do this, let's do that. Your pronouns attach bang at the end, okay? They go at the end, at the end, at the end. Okay, it's a little different for negative nosotros commands. So when you want to say, hey, let's not do this or let's not do that, then this is what happens. Your DOP and your IOP go in front of your mandato con nosotros and after the word no. So first say the word no, because that negates the whole thing. Next is your DOP and your IOP. And then finally in the sentence is your mandato con nosotros, your nosotros command. So if we want to say, hey, let's not lie to him, no le, IOP, mintamos. You see that? No le mintamos. And if you don't want to collaborate, if we don't want to collaborate, then no nos colaboremos. Hey, let us not collaborate. No. Nos, because that's our DOP, because I'm talking about us. Colaboremos. Again, your mandato con nosotros, which doubles up as a present tense subjunctive conjugation for nosotros. Finally, señoritas y señores, let's talk about those reflexive or reciprocal verbs. And I chose 3 of them for this example right over here. I chose alegrarse. I also chose ponerse. And I chose irse. Once again, every time you have the se at the end of your A-R-E-R-I-R verb, that means it's reflexive or reciprocal, as in like you're doing something for someone or someone is doing you a favor. So, what happens there? If you're going to be using a mandato con nosotros, a nosotros command, with a reflexive verb, the pronoun part of the verb, okay, the pronoun part of the set part at the end of the nosotros command, you're going to have to drop the last S. Okay, let me give you an example. Check it out. Alegrarse, right? Okay, that's what we're going to use for this first example. Alegrarse. When you work it out, you get alegremos. All right? Alegremos. So, since it's a mandato con nosotros, since it's a command for nosotros, then you would put the nos at the end of your mandato, at the end of your command. So now you have alegremosnos. Alegremosnos. But we're not done, because guess what? The Spanish rule is when attaching reflexive or reciprocal pronouns at the end of the nosotros command, you're gonna have to drop the S right here in alegremos. And here is your brand new nosotros command, new and improved. Because see, when you think about it, the people who invented the Spanish language, they thought to themselves, alegrémonos, that's too much of a tongue twister. Doesn't it sound nicer when we say alegrémonos? Alegrémonos. And you know what? This Spanish teacher agrees. It sounds much nicer. It flows much better. And it sounds a bit smoother. Alegrémonos. Don't forget the accent over this vowel right over here. Alegrémonos en la fiesta. Hey, let's be happy at the party. Alright? Let's take the next example. Ponerse. When you work it out, it's pongamos. That's your nosotros command. Pongamos. Since it's us that I want to to make or to do something, or to set or to put something, then next we have pongámonos. Pongámonos. Okay, so the nos goes at the end. But again, the people who invented the Spanish language said, you know what, that's too hard to say, so let's drop this S right over here at the end of pongamos. And now we have Pongámonos. Pongámonos de acuerdo. Sí, pongámonos de acuerdo. And that sounds great. And then finally, irse. Irse, when you work it out, remember that the verb ir is irregular, so when you work it out, it's vamos. Vamos. All right? And since it's a mandato para nosotros, since it's a nosotros command, then we put the nos, a reflexive pronoun at the end. So now it's vámonos, but you don't hear anybody say vámonos. You hear them say vámonos. Let's go. Vámonos. As in, let's get out of here. Okay? Vámonos. Because once again, what they did here is that they got rid of the S after vamos. And then nos they kept. So vámonos is how you say let's go in Español. And that is a look at your nosotros commands. These aren't really easy right away, so we will practice this en la clase de Español. Of course, you should always come back to this video to refresh your memory on how to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at the next lesson in this video. This information right over here that you see is going to be talking about possessive pronouns on página 184, page 184 in your Spanish book. So once again, en la clase de Español, open up to página 184 and take a look at the tutorial on possessive pronouns. All right? So, ladies and gentlemen, everyone knows by now, and you've learned this in English class, la clase de inglés, that pronouns replace the noun you're talking about. I, you, he, she, we, it, him, her, us, etc., etc. All right? These possessive pronouns indicate those same pronouns and who they belong to. They must agree with number and gender with the noun they replace. All right? Here are some. Oh, you know what? And before we move on to the examples, most of the time, make sure you put the definite article in front of the possessive pronoun. What are definite articles? If you remember from way back from Spanish 1, definite articles are el, la, los, and las. Alright? El, la, los, and las goes before you use the possessive pronoun. Okay? That happens most of the time except after the verb ser. Alright? So, if you have a form of the verb ser, like for example, let's conjugate ser because, you know, it's a very irregular verb in the present tense. Soy, eres, es, somos, son in the present tense. If you have that, then you don't need el, la, los, or las. Okay, that's the rule. All right? Kind of tricky with the rules in Español, but the more you practice, then the more it kind of comes to you. Okay? So, all right, pretend I have pens. I have pens, okay? Because let's talk about pens. Las plumas is what we would say around here for the pens. And they are feminine and they are plural, right? So, do you have yours? I have mine. Yo tengo las mías. And as you can see right over here, according to the rules, yo tengo, I have. Las is your definite article, and then mías, because again, my pens, las plumas, are plural and feminine. The word mías is plural and feminine. It's gotta match up, okay? I cannot say yo tengo los míos because it doesn't agree with number and gender with las plumas. So it's gotta be the same number and gender as the noun you're replacing, okay? Well, what if he's got his lápiz? What if he has his pencil? And if in that case, what I'm gonna say this. Él tiene, he has. El, definite article. Suyo. Yeah, okay. The word suyo is singular and masculine because el lápiz is singular and masculine. It's gotta match up. He's got his. Él tiene el suyo. Okay? You can't say él tiene la suya, because then it doesn't match el lápiz, the number and gender of el lápiz. All right, let's go on to the next example. Esos libros, those books, son, and then originally, remember, according to these rules above, we would put the definite article los, and then nuestros represents something or some things that are plural and masculine. So esos libros son los nuestros, but as you could see, the word los, we're going to get rid of it. Why? Because, take a look. This word right over here is a form of the verb ser, and I told you earlier, you put possessive pronouns after definite articles except after the verb ser. So since son is a form of the verb ser in the present tense, then we're going to get rid of this definite article. So now our new sentence, esos libros son nuestros. And that's proper Spanish. Esos libros son nuestros. You don't need the los part anymore. All right, let's talk about la culpa. La culpa, the blame. It's a feminine singular noun. And if I'm going to take the blame, la culpa es la mía. But wait a minute. Remember that the word es, that's a form of the verb ser. Just like above, you're going to get rid of the definite article la. And now your new sentence is la culpa es mía. So you do not need a definite article, el, la, los, or las, if you choose to use the verb ser. Alright, so since son and es are forms of the verb ser, then you get rid of those definite articles. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at more possessive pronouns. So if I have something that's masculine and singular and it belongs to me, it's mío. If I have something that is feminine singular and it belongs to me, it's mía. If I have something that's masculine plural, míos, feminine plural, mías. Okay? And once again, since these are pronouns, you no longer have to say, for example, if I'm talking about pens and pencils, I don't have to mention pens and pencils anymore because these words replace those, the names of those things. So, mío, if it's a lápiz, and I don't have to mention that's a lápiz anymore. Mía, if it's a pluma, and I don't have to mention it's a pluma anymore. I just say mío, mía. That's how it works. What if it belongs to you? What if you have many things that belong to you? What if they're masculine and singular, and feminine and plural, and so on and so on? Let's take a look. Tuyo or tuya, depending on its gender, if it's singular and belongs to you. Tuyos and tuyas, again, depending on gender and if it's plural and if it belongs to you. Okay, so that means your or yours. Okay, when you get to suyo, suyos, and suya, suyas, again, when you get to the third person singular possessive pronouns, this is where it gets a little tricky because suyo or suyos and suya or suyas can mean that it belongs to you formal, if I'm talking to you with usted, if I'm talking to you with respect, or it could belong to him, or it can belong to her. All right, so once again, let me take my pencils, the lápices, son suyos. Okay, I just grab my pencils and I say son suyos if I'm talking to usted, or son suyos if I'm talking about ella, or suyos if I'm talking about él. And then, of course, you make those adjustments if you're talking about feminine nouns, and, of course, whether if you have one or more than one. So when you get to suyo, suyos, suyo, suyos, suyas, suyas, then it gets a little tricky, all right? It gets tricky when it gets to some things that belong to us, or pronouns that belong to us. So now your choices are nuestro, nuestros, or nuestra, nuestras. All right, again, depending on the number and gender of the pronoun that replaces the actual noun you're talking about. Okay, it could be nuestro, nuestros, or nuestra, nuestras. And then finally, again, the return of suyo, suyo, suya, suyas. But in this case, it doesn't belong to you formal or he or she. It belongs, let's see here, to all of you as a group, all of you, ustedes. Or it belongs to them, ellos, or sometimes ellas if it's all feminine, okay? So watch out. Once again, let's recap. Mío or míos, mía or mías. Tuyo or tuyos, tuya or tuyas. Suyo or suyos, suya or suyas. Nuestro, nuestros, nuestra, nuestras. And then suyo or suyos and suyas or suyas if it belongs to all of you or if it belongs to them. All right? Are you confused yet? Well, I kind of figured you would be. But again, con práctica, with practice, you should be able to get it. All right? So let's take a look. Mi perro. El mío. Notice I never have to mention the word perro anymore because the word mío replaces perro. Again, my perro is masculine and singular. The word mío, masculine and singular. Tu hermana. La tuya. La tuya, yeah, okay. And notice these have a definite article in front of the possessive pronoun, all right? El is a definite article. La is a definite article. And mío and tuya are possessive pronouns, all right? Los libros de él. Okay, so those books belong to him. Los suyos. Yeah, los suyos. Because again, los libros, those are masculine plural things. The word suyos, well, los suyos, you have to put the los first. Those are masculine and plural words. All right, señoritas y señores, let's talk about la amistad de nosotros. Our friendship. Remember, la amistad, feminine singular, belonging to us. La nuestra. La nuestra. All right? El abuelo de usted. Now, don't forget, I'm not talking to tú, I'm talking to usted. So, I'm not going to say tuyo. I'm going to say el suyo. All right? El suyo. Sorry, I forgot the definite article. Yes, el suyo. Esas maletas. Those pieces of luggage, those bags, they are mine. All right? Now, don't forget, if I want to say they are mine in Spanish, I'm going to use the verb ser. Son mías. Now, notice I did not say son las mías because, again, if you're using the verb ser, you don't have to say a definite article anymore. Son mías. Ese carro. Hey, that car. It's yours. It belongs to you. Again, if I'm going to be using the verb ser, I can get rid of the definite article. Es tuyo. El carro. Ese carro. Es tuyo. All right? So that's a look at possessive pronouns, and we will practice more in la clase de Español. So, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for sitting through this very long video, but it's a lot of information for the second half of Chapter 4B. So we will practice in la clase de Español. So go out there and learn some Spanish, people. All right? This is Señor Barbosa. I am signing off. Hasta pronto, clase. I will see you in la clase de Español. Take it easy. Adiós.